I miss my ex so much. What should I do? I get this question in my inbox and in my DMs all the time. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do about it. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. There's no way around it. Breakups are absolutely brutal. It feels like there's a hole in your chest that only he can fill. And you just feel empty and lost. It almost feels like a death. And it is. It's the death of the potential of what could have been. It's the loss of someone who was so significant to you, the most significant person to you, and now they're just not there anymore. And it's extremely painful. Lately, I don't know what it is. There's something in the air, or maybe it's the time of year, but I have been getting so many questions from women who desperately miss their ex and either want to get back together or just move on so they're free from this pain, but they just can't escape it. No matter what category you're in, the advice is the same. You have to start the moving on process. This applies whether you just want to move on and get over it or whether you want to get back together with him. And I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. I'm going to tell you how to get rid of the pain and move on. So make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like and make sure to subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell so you get notified whenever I post new videos, and also make sure to follow me on Instagram at A New Mode. Also, there's only so much I can fit into one video, and I do try to keep my videos mostly short, sweet, to the point. If you really want to know how to get your ex back, or if you want to know how to get over him for good, then I highly suggest you check out our Get Him Back system. Eric, my co-founder of A New Mode, and I created this system. It is the ultimate guide to get your ex back or move on, get over him for good, gain some clarity about whether or not he's even the right guy for you. It literally covers everything from A to Z, so if that's where you're at, I highly suggest you download it right now. You can get it at easyexback.com, and I will also link it down below. Okay, so let's talk about what to do if you miss your ex. Number one, do not contact him for 30 days. And if he contacts you, you do not respond. If you wanna give him a heads up first, that's fine. You can say, look, I really need some time and some space. I would really appreciate it if you wouldn't contact me during the next month. And if he does contact you, you have to ignore. Studies have shown that when you are trying to get over someone, you basically have to start the process all over again any time that person reaches out to you. So any progress that you've made, if you engage with him and you either reach out to him or respond if he reaches out to you, you basically reset yourself and you are back to square one, back to the beginning. So keep that in mind. If you really want to move on, and I know the place that you're in because I've been there many times in my life, I know how agonizing it can feel, but you have to just keep going. I know that maybe you think it will feel better to talk to him, to hash things out one last time, but it's really not going to do anything. You're just going to be worse for it in the end. Again, it doesn't matter what your end goal is here, whether you want to get him back or whether you want to move on. You have to go at least 30 days no contact. I'm not going to go so into detail here because I have another video on the no contact rule, but essentially this time of no contact, number one, gives him the space to miss you and to really realize like, oh wow, she's like actually gone, because he can't really feel the weight of your absence if you're not absent. You're still there, then you're still part of his life. He's not really feeling that regret of breaking up with you, which I'm assuming he's the one that initiated the breakup. It also gives you the time and space to gain objectivity, to gain clarity, to really assess what it is that you want. So this is really about you. It's not about him. Number two, write letters that you don't send. This sounds cheesy, but it's very therapeutic and it's super helpful. I decided to do this at the height of my pain from one particularly brutal, soul-crushing breakup, and it really helped. So whenever women come to me and they are just really in the thick of it, I always advise doing this. After a breakup, there's just so much left unsaid. Or maybe you did say things, but you wish you could have said them differently. And these things, they just play on loop in your mind and torture you, and it's unrelenting. It's like a constant soundtrack of what you could have and should have done, and it can really drive you crazy. You need to just release these thoughts, or else they're just gonna haunt you forever. And I found that writing it all out in a letter is really therapeutic, and it just kind of gets it out of there, you know, like it takes it out of your mind and puts it somewhere else. Maybe you think you need closure or you're owed closure, but trust me, if you are fresh out of a breakup, the closure talk will go absolutely nowhere. I'm not saying you can never get your closure. First of all, aside fact about closure is usually when women say they want closure, it's not what they want. What they want is one last opportunity to see their ex face to face and plead their case and she hopes that if she's on her best behavior, if she looks good and she acts good and she's well behaved, then he's gonna change his mind and he'll want to get back together. That's usually what she wants when she says she wants closure. What she really wants is a continuation or a last chance to plead her case. You don't need him to give you closure. Closure means it's closed, it's done. This is something that you can give yourself. So don't fall into the trap of, I can never move on with my life until I have this closure talk with him where he perfectly resolves everything and wraps it all up in a neat little bow and I have no more questions and I'm able to just move on with nothing left unsaid. That's never gonna happen. And especially right after a breakup, those closure talks are usually disastrous because emotions are still running high. He'll probably act a little cold towards you because you're probably in a state of being like a complete emotional wreck and he is just kind of trying to guard himself from that because he's just trying to move past this. He's trying to move on. It's just not gonna work out in your favor. So if you have all these thoughts and all these things you want to say, just write it down in a letter. Maybe you will end up sending it to him one day. Maybe you won't even care to send it to him. Maybe just getting it all out there will give you the clarity you need to move forward. Speaking of, sometimes you don't even really know how you feel until you get it out and put it on a page. Thoughts can be very repetitive and cyclical. You might find yourself just playing the same loop over and over and over. When you get things out, you kind of get to like the root of what's going on, of what really is generating those thoughts. So again, this is why it's super important. And if you don't want to write it out as like a letter addressing him, just journal it out, write it to yourself. It's very powerful, trust me. Number 3. Hide all mementos. How are you ever gonna get over him if there is a picture of you and him smiling and looking happy and in love right on your nightstand? Or if you refuse to take off the necklace that he bought you for your birthday? You won't. They are just gonna serve as painful reminders of what you once had, and it's just gonna continuously jab you between the ribs and torture you for all time. I'm not saying these things can't come back into your life. I was never one to like throw away the mementos and burn all the pictures. I just put those things away, like very far away, somewhere that is completely inconvenient and inaccessible. And years and years and years later, when you're completely past it, you can look back on these things and they won't generate painful emotions within you. So take all the cards, all the notes, all the jewelry, anything that reminds you of your time with him and just hide it somewhere far away. When it comes to photos online on your social media accounts, I mean, this is a personal choice. Maybe it doesn't affect you that he still lives on your social media. Maybe that is gonna be something that is gonna continue to hurt you. And if so, just take them down. If you wanna save the pictures, you don't wanna delete them forever, put them in a folder, put them on an external hard drive and hide that away as well. You don't need these things to keep flooding you and reminding you of what you once had. Number 4, get those endorphins pumping. Working out is just a cure for everything, for stress, anxiety, insomnia, and a broken heart. It's not only gonna help you feel better, it's gonna help you look better. So there's really no downside there. And there's also something very empowering about challenging yourself in new ways. So try a new exercise you never have before, or really try to push yourself into something that's challenging for you, because this can really build confidence in yourself and self-esteem. Also, something like boxing is just a great way to get all your aggression out. I mean, there's so many emotions that are just in there after a breakup, and exercising can be a really great way to just release and get it all out. Number 5, change your mentality. After a breakup, it is far too easy to get sucked into a whirlpool of negative thoughts, mostly about yourself. You may ruminate on the fact that you were never good enough, that maybe he never loved you, that you're never gonna find someone as exceptionally exceptional as him. You need to stop all of this. It is not serving you in any positive way, in any way at all. It's always interesting to me how the mind can just fall back on negativity, and there's almost like a comfort to it. It almost feels like home, especially if you're someone who struggles with your sense of worth and your self-esteem. It almost feels good in a way because it's validating. And what do I always tell you guys? The subconscious mind is always looking to prove itself right. So when a relationship falls apart, this guy you thought was the love of your life breaks up with you, the subconscious just swoops in and is like, see, I told you you weren't good enough. I told you were unworthy. And we just kind of let ourselves sink into those feelings and believe them. Because deep down we already believe them. Now we just have more proof. You really have to fight against this. Even though it might feel natural, even though it might feel right, it might feel wrong for you to say, I will find love. I am gonna find someone. I am a great catch. I am a great person. That might feel wrong, but it doesn't matter. Tell it to yourself anyway. Fight back against those negative beliefs that are so deeply wired into you. Also, the more you feed into the I can't live without him feelings, the more powerless you make yourself and the more power you give to him, because he's the only one that could take this pain away. But again, that's not true. You can get yourself through this. You don't need him to get you through this. You get to control how you feel about yourself. So don't give him full control over you. So when those negative thoughts come flooding in, you really have to focus your energy on pushing them away, asking them to leave, replacing them with positive thoughts. If you can do this, it will really change your life. Number 6, look back objectively. Instead of focusing on the missing and the wanting and the yearning, focus on what you learned from this experience. Look at it from a more positive angle, because there is always a lesson to learn. And if you can find that lesson, then you'll become better, not bitter. What did you learn about yourself in this relationship? What did you learn about relationships in general? What did you learn about what you will and won't accept from a partner? What did you learn in this relationship that can help you be even better in your next relationship? What did you do in this relationship that you'll never do again in another relationship? What types of treatment did you accept that you shouldn't have accepted? Try to extract something positive from this experience and try to see what you learned and how you can grow and how you can be better. Number 7, focus on yourself. Stop focusing on him and his needs and why you weren't good enough. Focus on you. Focus on building yourself back up. Focus on becoming your best possible self. Do you regret the way you acted in the relationship? Okay, that's normal, but don't torture yourself because of it. Try to think of ways that you can be better, how you can grow. Stop making it all about him. This is what we do after breakups. We just yearn for him, especially even if he wasn't even that great. Even when you were in the relationship with him, you're like, oh, he's not even that great. Once he's gone, it's like, oh my God, he is the supreme being and I will never be able to find anyone as amazing as him. So either I am just gonna suffer the rest of my life or I have to get him back. This is absurd. Don't make it all about him. It didn't work out. He doesn't want to be with you. That's all the information you need to know. I'm not saying this is the case forever. Of course you can get back together. I married an ex-boyfriend. So yes, of course, it is totally possible to get back together. That's not the focus right now. The focus is not on how to get him back. The focus is, how do I get over this? How do I rebuild my relationship with myself? That's really where you need to be putting your energy right now. I hope you found this helpful. I would love to hear your thoughts, your feedback in the comment section. I read them all. I try to respond to everyone. And again, if you want to know exactly how to get your ex back or exactly how to get over him for good so you don't have the ghost of him haunting you for the rest of your life, then I highly suggest you check out our Get Him Back system. You can get it at easyxback.com. Hope you love it, and I will see you in the next video.